Hi, welcome to this month's monthly mini. My name is Val Madsen, and I'm the Training and Development Specialist at Respite Care Association, Wisconsin. This month, we're going to be talking about creating a strong registry profile. On the Respite Care Association of Wisconsin's website, there is a respite registry, and this is a tool for caregivers to be able to search for respite providers in their area. And what we have discovered is as we've gone through and updated our registry, some profiles are really strong and others might need a little more assistance. So today we want to spend a little bit of time, just a short amount of time, talking about creating your profile, what to include, and how to best market yourself as a potential employee for a caregiver. Just a quick reminder that our registry is not an employment source. We are not an employee or an employee agency that employs people for respite care. We're just really providing a tool to be able to have you connect with family caregivers. We want to make sure that the family caregivers can find you as trained providers, and then it's up to you guys to make sure it's a good match. We do have tools on our website in order to talk about ways to make sure it's a good match for you. So questions to ask the family, interview tips, things like that, really just to make sure it fits. So on our registry, there's a couple options. You can either register yourself as an individual or as an agency. We updated our respite registry a few months ago, probably beginning of 2021. And anyone that was on our registry previous all got uploaded as individuals. So if you were uploaded as an individual, but you want to change your profile to an agency, please feel free to reach out to us and we can help you do that. Really looking at the difference, if you are wanting to provide care as an individual and not be employed through an agency, you should fill out the individual branch. So this would be if you have family caregivers contacting you, if you are working with people through MCOs, Family Care, IRIS, CLTS, then you should be listed as an individual. Really, you should pick an agency if you are employing staff to either do in-home respite or if you have a community-based setting. So that would be, someone drops off their care recipient at your center in order to receive respite. So that's really the two different options that you have. We are mainly going to talk about your individual profiles, but on each slide, we'll also talk about if you're an agency, what that would look like for you. So basic information, your name, email, phone, address. Some tips on this, look at your email address. Some of us are still using our email addresses from high school. But think about it as far as how does it convey who you are. If your email address is like Sweetie Pie 6969, that might not be an appropriate email address as a professional or as someone who's looking to be employed. So it might be a good idea just to set up a new email address for employment purposes or for respite purposes. This is a great way to really start being able to know what is your business stuff versus what is your stuff. And I say business, but it might not necessarily be a full-time business. Maybe you're just looking for a few extra hours and this is a way to connect. It does have address here, and that is a required field. The address will not show up on an individual's profile. If it's an agency, the first line of the address will show up. If it's an individual, only the city and state will show up. And the reason we do that is because there's a lot of people that might live on the border of two counties. So it would be good to know that it's close to a person or not. Basic questions to get started. Just really understanding that what we're asking people if they're listed on our provider registry is to respond to family caregivers within 48 hours as much as you can. People are often really looking for maybe a time sensitive provider And so even if you aren't able to provide care or you're full right now, if you're able to respond within 48 hours, that is extremely helpful, and it just makes you look better as an individual provider. If you do not respond to emails or phone calls in a timely manner, we will make you inactive. It is really frustrating on the family caregiver side if they are calling people or emailing people and no one is responding to them. So then the demographics that we ask for is counties you're available to work in. That one's pretty self-explanatory. You just check the counties. Some people have gone through it and checked like all of the counties, and it doesn't make sense. If you are located in Milwaukee, you probably are not going to go up to Superior or Northern Wisconsin to provide respite. So really do look at the counties in your area and check the ones that make sense for you. Ages you're willing to work with. We have 3 options: children, adult, and elderly. You can pick whichever ones you are willing to work with. So make sure that that's appropriate. Type of respite, in-home or facility-based. In-home would be you going into someone's home or someone coming into your home. Facility-based is if you provide respite in a facility. So typically agencies would pick this. An individual doesn't necessarily pick this option unless maybe they run a family childcare center. And so then it is a facility based even as an individual. So that's how we can tell the difference. And then we also ask, are you available during the pandemic? And would you provide care to someone, a household that has positive COVID testing, just so that families are able to see that and know that right away. So this is the very basic information. So if I go on and fill out just the information that's needed, this is what my profile will look like. As a caregiver searching, this doesn't tell me a whole lot. So it's very basic. Okay, I provide in-home respite in Juneau County. I live in Waniwak, children, adult, elderly, but it has 0 information about me. So what we want to do is really enhance our profiles to give more information, but not make them overwhelming either. One way to do that is put the hours available to work. So this is a fill-in block, and try to be specific. So if you are looking only for work during the week in the afternoons, put that down there. Or I'm available every other weekend. I'm looking to provide respite for no more than 10 hours a week. I'm willing to provide overnight care, available only Mondays and Tuesdays through a certain day. There's lots of different options on how you want to use this space. You don't need to do all of them, but give something, give some information to the caregivers. If you are an agency, use a space to put your facility hours down. Okay, the next section is talking about like experience and trainings. So there's a lot of different options here. These are text boxes. And one thing that is kind of confusing is when you go in and you push enter, it looks like it goes to another line and you're starting a new line. It doesn't end up that way on the back end. So if you have a list of things, it puts it together in one line. So making sure that you use complete sentences and punctuations, and looking at it after it goes live to make sure it's being shown the way that you want it to be shown. So the first box, experience and histories, really look at experience relating to providing care to individuals. Include types of disabilities that you have experience with. Highlight if it might be medical, seizures, G-tubes, personal care, again, complete sentences. I have experience with the following disabilities and list them. Ages that you've cared for or how long. I've provided care for a child with autism and seizures for the last 4 years, something like that. Keep it simple and easy to read. Include specific organizations if you want, if that makes sense. And for agencies, this might be a good spot to put how long you've been working with the population, how long have you been open, who do you serve, your staff ratios, things like that. So these are examples that I actually pulled from profiles. So like this one is good. It has full sentences. It tells different experiences, schooling, all of those things. This one also is good. CNA, 20 plus years experience, including skilled long-term care, memory care, and private duty. So those are two very different things, but they still give the same information. So it's figuring out what works for you and what best conveys the message. Here's some more examples. Again, full sentences, punctuation, talked about a variety of different things that they have experience with. Currently support staff at a special ed classroom, what experience and disabilities they've worked with. And then this one, 11 years working with adults and children. That doesn't give me a whole lot of information. So adding more to that would be beneficial. So the next section is education certificates and licenses. So this would be a place to include any degrees, programs of study, certifications that are relevant to this profession or to providing care for people with disabilities. You can also list expired certifications. So maybe you were an EMT many years ago, you can put that and then the date expired. So even though it's expired, you're not showing yourself as an active EMT, but you still had that information. That is still really positive to add onto your resume. Again, use punctuations. This is a spot where a lot of people use abbreviations, and some of that if they aren't in the field, they might not understand what any of the abbreviations are. So try not to use abbreviations, try to spell it out. For agencies, this would be a great place to say, oh, I have a family child care license. I have an adult day center license. I'm licensed by the state of Wisconsin. We're certified in these things. So just, again, include information about your agency for people. Here are some examples. So this, you can see that most likely they pushed enter in between each one to try to get different lines. So when you enter it into the system, it looks like it's on different lines, but that's not how it ends up. So really figuring out how to make sure, and this one down here, special education assistant, Wisconsin license, Wisconsin lifespan respite training, there's not a single comma in that. So I'm guessing that's what happened. So just making sure that you go back and really look at that, again, complete sentences or making sure you're using punctuation. Really figuring out what is important, working on getting coaching degree and real estate license that might or might not be relevant to the service you're putting that you want to be matched with. So just be aware of what information you're putting down. The next box is other trainings. So this would be where you can put trainings, workshops, conferences that might not have certifications attached. So if you've attended the autism conference, the statewide autism conference the last 3 years, that might be a good thing to put in, especially if you're interested in working with someone with autism. If you've completed the dementia generalist certificate from UW Oshkosh, or you have experience or courses or workshop in trauma-informed care, or sign language, that would be information to put in here. If for agencies, I would put your staff training requirements in here. So all staff are trained in this, and this, so that it's clear to the provider or to the family caregiver what the staff is trained in. And then the next box is other information. So this you might use for a variety of things, maybe best ways to contact you, references available upon request, maybe putting that in there. If you have any restrictions, maybe you're allergic to pets and you can't provide in-home care in someone else's house if they have pets. That would be a good thing to put here, because as a family caregiver, I don't want to call and reach out and then find that out. I wouldn't have called you in the first place. If you do not have transportation, and let's say you're in a larger city, you might put must be on bus route or within walking distance of bus route. Whatever information you want to share with the family caregiver that would make their decision useful in whether they're going to call you or not. Agencies, this is where I would put description of your programs, payment sources. So if you take CLTS, if you take family care, if you work through certain MCOs, whatever it might be, that's where I would list this here. All right, so examples from this section. So some sign language. I'm also a traveling nursing assistant. That's good information. Have worked with G-tubes, various other medical equipment. Again, be cautious about using all capital letters. Some people really see that and get very, not defensive, but it just really puts them off. So just be aware of that as you are filling out your profiles. This is great. I prefer texting or Gmail. You can also leave me a voicemail. So that gives information on how to best contact you. My service radius is actually pretty small and gets smaller during bad weather months. So by us having what city and state, or what city this person's in, then as a family caregiver, I can see, oh, okay, well, I'm 40 miles away. That's probably not within this person's service area, but maybe I'll still reach out and see. But this person as a provider is very upfront saying, this is how far I am, and just be aware of this. We are also adding a great feature. We're hoping to have it live in the next week or so. So by September 2021, where you can upload a resume. This is already in our process. So this is already there. It must be a PDF, but what will be cool is it will be searchable for the family caregiver. So it will become part of your profile online when you come up in the searches. And so this would be a great way to put like a bio sheet or some information about activities you've done, different things like that. For agencies, I would put like a brochure or info sheet about your programs here. So just another tool to use to market yourself. So things to put on this, maybe your interests and strengths, activities that you like to do with clients. Maybe this is where you share, agencies that you've worked for in the past. Make sure your contact information is on this. If someone has a really strong bio sheet, as a family caregiver, I might download that and not necessarily come back and find them in the search function. And so if I have the contact information there, that would be really good. Maybe a picture of yourself or a picture of yourself with clients, family, friends. Make sure if it is with a client that you have permission. That's not something that you want to put out there if a family caregiver is not comfortable with that. I would also recommend that you have the information on here that's pretty general or applies over time, unless you plan to go in and actively update this often, which we all know that typically doesn't happen. So making sure it's information that makes sense. Not that my hours of availability for the next month are this. That would be something to put on your regular profile, not on this bio sheet. So this would be information, I'm really interested in being outside. I love being in the community. I'm willing to take clients on outings, really enjoy arts and crafts, really, things like that, that are applicable over a over a period of time. And then some final touches, add a picture, look at your profile when it's live and make sure you're proofreading. With this, you do get an email when your profile goes live. So search for yourself, go into the county you put, the population you put, and search and see what comes up. Look at your profile. Does it make sense, or does your sentences run together and it didn't transfer well? Look at other profiles. So do searches throughout the state. What are things you like? Use that within your profile as well to give you some ideas. And then make sure to go in often to update and stay current. You will be removed or made inactive if you have not gone in every 6 months minimum. But we also are working on updating our registry where the profiles will be listed on the search page by the ones that are most current. So the people who have gone in the most recent. So this would be if I went in today to update my resume, or not my resume, my profile. When someone searches, I will be at the top of the list of people. In some counties, there's 20, 25 agencies and individual providers in the list. So if I'm at the top, my profile is going to be looked at sooner. So if you maybe put it on your calendar to check once a month and just go in and make those updates that you can, that would be fantastic. So this was the original profile that we had seen in the beginning. You know, again, very basic information. It has my contact information, a city, but really doesn't tell a whole lot. Once I go in and fill in some of these blanks, this looks better. People are going to be able to know more information about me. I have been providing care to individuals with a variety of disabilities and ages for more than 20 years. I've worked in overnight settings, personal care and activities, listed the disabilities, my licenses and certifications, trainings I've completed, my hours available to work, I'm on the CLTS list. This is just a sample. CLTS list will accept private funds, so it tells what type of funding sources, just information that's general. And then, as I said, coming up soon, there will be a link to be able to click to my bio so that a family caregiver can have additional information about me as well. So those are the tips and tricks for making your profile registry stronger. So really making sure that you go in and just double check, take a look at it, make sure that it's good and it's there and it's covering all the information you need. If you need help, let's go in and show you real quick the website. So when you go in, there's this registry login button right here. If you push that, all you will have to do is put in your password. If you don't know your password, click here so that you can get an email to reset your password. So if you already have a profile, that's where you would update it. If you do not have a profile, you go to registry and become a respite care provider. Or if you want to see your profile, find a respite care provider. You click on that, and then you'll be given the option to search by different counties, ages, and type of respite. And so then you can see, oh, these are the people in my county. I can click it to expand it and see what my profile looks like. So those are our tips and tricks for the month. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Respite Care Association at any point in time. We're here to support you and to really help you improve the quality of your profile, because as we continue to grow, we will really start pushing that out as a resource for families. We'll be adding in the next couple months as well, an option for family caregivers to post job opportunities that they're looking for. So then you as a respite provider would be able to search for family caregivers and the jobs that they have available within your county as well. So making sure that your profile is active, because if someone creates that, they're going to double check and look at your profile and look at your information. So making sure that you just have things updated, that you are familiar with the system. Again, if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. info@respitecarewi.org, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's monthly mini. We really look forward to doing these. Have a great day.